What conspiracy theory do you believe in the most? Area 51 is just a front that was allowed to become popular in the public eye, but actually has nothing of value. Not saying aliens and bases exist. Just saying Area 51 is allowed to be the popular secret base thing to cover up actual secrets. I must correct my previous statement. Camp David is a retreat, not an emergency location. However, that could also be a front. Also not downplaying what the airmen at 51 do. Just saying that what they do now is not likely as top secret as people are led to believe. My dog is still living on a farm somewhere. 47 years later. This is true. Can confirm. Don't ask why or how. Too dangerous. I've already said too much. Disney released Frozen so that it would be the top result when searching Disney Frozen and not anything about Walt's head being cryogenically frozen in the Disney theme park. I don't know how likely that is. On either count actually. Just like the Anime Free was named so they could get promotion from all the kids searching free anime. Double quote. Not really one single conspiracy theory, but I do feel like seemingly quite often if a big political scandal is breaking, something tends to happen that dominates the news cycle for a little bit. A shooting, celebrity controversy, something that is just basic political game. If something looks bad for political party A, then supporters and media of political party A push other news first and search for something bigger. Also, supporters of that political party runs to other news to keep their political bias in check. Marshmello doesn't actually produce his own music. My biggest piece of evidence is the creator arcade videos. He speaks and navigates Ableton like someone with only a basic knowledge of music production. He does everything number by number. Producers don't do that. You can't just instantly know that sound needs a boost of exactly 1 dB at exactly 1.2 kHz without even listening to the sound first. He randomly pauses every now and then, presumably to be fed lines. And he seems to lack even a basic understanding of music theory. Recreating MIDI by randomly clicking in notes with no regard for the key of the song. Someone with the level of skill he demonstrates should not be capable of making radio quality hits. Coca-Cola tested HFCS in place of sugar and found that while the taste was similar, people could tell the difference. They brought out new Coke to cleanse people's palates and waited until as much of the original formula products had been sold as they could. Then they cancelled new Coke and brought back Coke Classic, which was the HCFS version, and people didn't have any original stuff left to compare it to. The only reason they made new Coke was to act as a buffer so people wouldn't notice the change in ingredients. I absolutely hate HFCS in my drinks. I went to India over the winter. Over there almost every soda has cane sugar as the sweetener, and I just can't deal with eating corn as my sugar. There's too much F-king corn in American food. I'll have to find the Twitter thread that documents all the uses we've found for corn and how it's in almost everything we eat. I believe that the government probably makes some conspiracy theories to try to make questioning the government seem somewhat crazy. I heard this recently about reptilians. Me. Yeah, there's no such thing as reptilian aliens running our government and business. My lizard. Yes, you are correct, human friend. Now I must topple the government. I mean, eat this fly. All those DNA ancestor sites are giving the government your DNA for their record. I mean, that's literally how they caught the Golden State Killer. Like 30 years later. I think some memes are started by businesses as a form of free advertising. The recent Duolingo memes got me thinking more about it. Duolingo wasn't a small app at the time, but it became a lot more popular after the fact. There have been other memes revolving around a particular product brand as well that make me think this is happening on a strategic level beyond some kid thinking it'd be hella funny to do this or that. I'm pretty sure this was happened with the movie Bird Box. It was all over Twitter and other social media before I even heard anything about it from Netflix. That's just a well-made marketing campaign. That whichever label has Michael Jackson's unreleased song sells them to current pop stars. It's why there are artists like Bruno Mars and The Weeknd have such similar style and classic sounding pop songs. Never heard this, but interesting and plausible. I will, however, file it in my lowest priority box. Lol. I don't know if it's a popular conspiracy, but YouTube Kids is on some serious brainwashing bullshit. My baby brother has a tablet that he regularly uses to watch YouTube, and we restricted him to the Kids app, which has seemed like more and more of a bad idea by the videos that are on there. Some are harmless Minecraft videos or songs, but others are just weird, creepy animation, characters stabbing each other with objects, even putting bags over their head, which my brother decided to try for fun. Definitely brainwashing and conditioning in the worst way possible. That the Republicans and Democrats running the show truly do not care about beating each other and instead are focused on the illusion of competition while they just split the power and rotate things every few cycles. All issues are divided in a way that nearly splits the country and keeps us fighting each other. Not sure if it's a conspiracy theory per se, but the Las Vegas shooting and the way it was presented to the public by law enforcement and the media was super fishy. There's just a few too many coincidences and convenient gaps in information. The security guard disappearing and then magically reappearing for one controlled interview with an obvious handler sitting right by his side. The house getting broken into and the hard drives going missing. The girlfriend who disappeared and then reappeared and then disappeared again, who had apparently listed the FBI as a previous place of employment on a resume. The speed with which it just disappeared from the news cycle was really crazy too, considering it was the deadliest mass shooting in US history. Especially when you consider how much the next 3 deadliest stuck around in the news cycle: Pulse, VA Tech, Sandy Hook. There's something that is critically important to the story that is being intentionally withheld. Federal law enforcement bodies are working with the public and private prison industries to flood the streets with heroin and fentanyl because they see the impending mass legalization of marijuana and can't risk that many empty cells. A massive uptick in street opioid use in the past few years, combined with aggressive policies targeting legitimate pain patients and cutting them off of their medications, as well as restricting doctors' abilities to treat more people with things like Suboxone. It's not Big Pharma. Why would they allow their most popular and abusable medications to be all but banned if they're as big and powerful as everyone thinks? It's not like they're hawking new treatment drugs. And the government is working hard to ban natural alternatives like kratom on top of it. To me, it all points to a concentrated effort to increase drug-related offenses to keep fines and court fees rolling in and cells filled after weed is legal. That Hitler actually escaped to Argentina instead of killing himself in a bunker. There's a couple reasons I don't believe this, mainly because Hitler was such a larger-than-life personality that the thought of Uncle Adolf retiring quietly to some farm in South America and never re-emerging to try and restart the Reich isn't plausible to me. He would have literally had to completely change his mannerisms. I just don't see it. That Princess Diana death was orchestrated by Prince Charles. I just can't wrap my head around the idea that this guy has an affair with Camilla and gets caught. Divorce happens, and even during the divorce and after, she is doing absolutely the best, like just killing it still in her duties. Mom duties. The gorgeous revenge velvet dress. The entire world adores her. Then all of a sudden she dies in this car accident due to her driver? You know how many countless times she was driven by someone. Someone who was trained and hired specifically for the royal family. Then Prince Charles gets married to Camilla and all is right and well again, and the public eye the world gets to see. Man, I really hope we're in a simulation. Every religion's heaven sounds like a real drag. But I don't want everything to just end. Ideally. One day I'll die. Then just wake up in a room. Go get a snack or something. Then load up another life and go for another spin. Repeat millions or billions of times. The Earth is a zoo created by aliens and UFOs are visitors. In Lilo and Stitch, they said Earth was a wildlife preserve for mosquitoes, while the aliens refer to it as a preserve for mosquitoes. At the end of the movie we're told that it was a lie made up to protect Earth from destruction. Not trying to correct you or anything. Just think it's a cool callback to the running mosquito gag throughout the movie. That a lot of the challenges like the 10-year challenge, are orchestrated by big tech companies in order to gather data to develop art. I don't think they'd need to orchestrate anything. Especially at this point. Google and Facebook have been collecting and analyzing everything they can get their hands on for well over a decade at this point. Facebook doesn't need users to post pictures of themselves from 10 years ago. Because Facebook already has the pictures they posted 10 years ago. That Jar Jar was meant to be the top Sith Lord in the prequels, but the idea was scrapped after seeing the fan reaction to him. That's why Count Dooku is just kinda dropped into Attack of the Clones as though he was there the whole time. Tried telling a buddy this. Don't get me wrong. Jar Jar is still a horrendous character. But Dooku always felt out of place to me in Ep. I. Like he was supposed to be a different character. But they adapted it into Dooku. He didn't believe me. All the UFO sightings throughout history are just humans from the future on a time-traveling safari meant to observe how we were in the past. They are supposed to keep out of sight. But because of human mechanical errors there have been hiccups with their cloaking which have resulted in being seen. That's why there have always been so many reports of them throughout history. But there has never been an attack. It's just us. Also the reason why we don't see as many examples of UFOs now even through pretty much everyone has a camera is because people are not that interested in this time period since we already document aspects of human life all the time. I dunno man. If I were a time traveler I'd visit ancient Egypt or the JFK's assassination and not fly around getting my stupid ass photographed in Bumpsy CK, Tennessee in 1981. Michael Jordan didn't decide to step away from the NBA to play baseball to honor his dad or anything like that. He got caught gambling and David Stern couldn't allow the league to lose all credibility with its biggest star being suspended for betting on games. He had him take a couple years off instead of publicly punishing him. There was a good doc on Netflix that went into detail about it. It's about the ref who would throw games and Michael accidentally got caught up in it when the FBI intercepted a phone conversation. There's a recent increase in realistic space colonization movies to garner interest in space exploration. Because some people at the top know it's needed. It's actually probably so very wealthy people can get funding and support from us average losers so they can abandon the planet as soon as possible while we suffer all the shit that was most likely caused by them. People at the top don't give a shit about you and I. We can sit on the planet and pay for oxygen as we slowly die from cancer or WE. They want to get off the planet. Planned obsolescence. If it's still a conspiracy theory, why does my phone suddenly develop unseen issues when the new one is released? It's not a coincidence. And who even asked for these tech companies to release a new phone every year? We live in a time where technology is now growing at a rather slower pace compared to the 2000s when there was rapid innovation. It's not like my current phone is getting crappier in 1 year. But wait. IT is. Applies to phones, tablets, smartwatches. Basically most, rather expensive, internet-connected devices receiving updates. The art world is basically a low-key way for rich people and companies to launder money. Which is why the stupidest most odd of paintings randomly go for hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory so much as it is straight up reality. The very wealthy, like generationally wealthy, are known to put their money in art because it can't be taxed the same way and it generally appreciates rather than depreciates. There are only so many Monets and Beninis. But if you can spin a good story any Joe Schmo can be the next Warhol. Yes. I'm a poor Philistine. Close bracket. Michael Bay is a genius auteur who makes shitty movies on purpose. It's like his own little societal experiment. Where he sees how shitty he can make a movie that still makes money. All while making fun of his audience for his own personal amusement. That the 2016 clowns were a marketing rouse to promote IT, the movie, by reminding people that clowns are scary as shit. Man. I forgot about that whole clown thing. 2016 was a wild year.